Hey guys, Teflon with a GB here with a video about ConsolePort. ConsolePort is a mod for World of Warcraft that lets you play the game with a controller, which, as insane as that sounds, actually works really well. You'll see at the bottom there that what the mod does is it replaces the regular action bars with this really swanky action bar designed for controllers. You can see the D-pad labeled there on the left and the X and Y, A and B on the right with the bumpers in the middle. And there's a ton of customization. So this is how I have it set up, but there's a ton of customization that allow you to really use this the way you want. But when I pull the triggers, an alternate set of commands are available to me. So depending on what trigger I pull, including both triggers, I get a totally different set of commands. Now, for me, I like generally to have my offensive abilities on my static regular bar and my left trigger, and then I put most of my healing commands on my right trigger. But this works way better than you would expect, and it actually lets the game almost play like an action game, which is really pretty wild. But you know, once you get used to how you've got your command set up, you can play with a lot of muscle memory. You don't have to look at the bar down there, but it plays very, very well. And you know, apart from the actual combat part of the game, you know, there's very little in combat that requires you to use a mouse. And I think that's a huge success, that they found all of the things you would need to access all the commands you need for combat, to where you're just clicking regular buttons on the controller in the regular fashion. But unfortunately, WoW does require you to occasionally invoke a mouse cursor, and they let you do this however you want. I have it set up, and I believe it was the default, to have it be where right-clicking on the right stick will make a right-click on the mouse, and also will invoke the cursor. And so if I actually kill these guys right here, and then I click on my right stick, you will see this cursor appears. One of the things you must do with a mouse cursor in WoW is looting. So I keep the cursor right here real close, and I loot by essentially double-clicking the right stick on the loot. And so it works very well, even in situations where you have to sort of drive your mouse around with your right stick. The left click on the left stick is a left click on a mouse, and it really lets you use the mouse cursor just like you would expect to be able to use it. I can right click and do all the right click things I would expect. I can left click and, you know, in that case selected myself, just like you would expect to be able to. And so when you want to use it like a mouse, you're able to do that. They also have a special cursor when you're not in combat that is invoked that lets you drive things around elements of the UI with your D-pad, and it gives you this special cursor. You can even see the on-screen prompts there. B will pick this item up, and when I pick it up, that allows me to put it in my utility ring, that allows me to put it on my action bar, or that allows me just to move it within my bags, or send it to maybe a vendor that I might be visiting, or a trade window. So it really makes trading things really easy. I don't actually have anything to sell these guys here, but I guess I will arrow over here. And the thing that I think makes this thing so magical is the way that it somehow detects all of the clickable elements on the UI, and so you can bounce to them. So, you know, it's not the most efficient thing, but it really does work very well. And it is sort of, the behavior is as you would expect, which I think is just the best thing. I can really easily come up here and select one of these world quests to do, and have that world quest highlighted. I actually have my objectives tracker hidden right now to make my UI a little cleaner. While playing in the living room, I'm forced to have my UI scale larger than I normally would have it. So my UI is a bit more cluttered than I normally would have, which is why I actually have hidden my objectives window and my chat window. But the utility ring is actually a really great feature. It is unique and static, I suppose, to your character, no matter what specialization you have currently activated, or what form, in the case of a druid, you're in. This bar is always static, and so you can put the things that you're going to need to access all the time there. I actually have a macro here that will switch me to Moonkin. I'm a part-time bear, full-time Moonkin. When I do dungeons, I'm just a Moonkin DPS. But it's really nice for me to be able to switch, and I just realized that I did not switch the specialization like I thought I did. But there is a nice mod I have here, or macro, to switch to the different specialization. You can see here in this specialization that my buttons are now different. I have different buttons bound, and it's all based on what specialization I have currently activated. So it works really well, and they've done a really great job on this special start menu here. When I press start on my controller, I get all of the normal options you would expect from the UI, but they've just put it here in a really clean, usable format, and they've got a really clean UI built here to set up all of the different options that you might want for how the cursor is hidden, and the auto hiding cursor is one of the, I think, the most important aspects of the mod. What triggers you want to use for modifiers, a few other tidbits, and then over here you actually can see the where you actually set up the bindings. The default bindings are actually already set to your standard action bars, so you'll automatically get quite a bit of your abilities automatically bound to different buttons, but you will definitely want to come in here and customize further to really make them work out the way that you want them to. But all in all, I just find this mod to be extremely impressive, and it sort of does exactly what you'd expect it to do, and I encourage you guys to check it out. If you guys have any other questions, let me know in the comments below or on our blog at thegb.org, and we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks so much.